That one. All right, so what we have to do in problem number 10, this is practice test 1, problem number 10, we have to answer a bunch of questions. So I want to answer B, C, and D first. Is this thing a function? Is that picture right there a function? Yes, because why? It passes the vertical line test. Okay? Now, ready? Is its inverse a function? No, because it does not pass the horizontal line test. So therefore, is it 1-to-1? No, because to be 1-to-1, it has to pass both tests. All right, we have a lesson about this. It's in your notes. Now, I'm going to sketch the inverse. And that's really, really easy. This is the original. It's exactly what's on your paper. I'm going to take each one of these ordered pairs, and I'm going to flip-flop them. So instead of -4, 0, I'm going to plot 0, -4. Instead of -3, -2, I'm going to plot -2, -3. -1, -2. -1, -1, and 0, 0. Then I'll plot 1, 2, and 0, 3. And there's the inverse. So easy to plot. Just take each ordered pair. That's why I wrote them all down so I can actually see them. Take each ordered pair and flip-flop them. Connect the dots. Okay? Easy enough. Now the last question on this practice test says, all right, I've got this picture, and then somehow now I have this picture. So what happened? What did I do to go from here to here? What happened? What? Two things happened. Flipped it upside down. See how that's pointing up and now it's pointing down. So I flipped it upside down for sure. What else happened?
Flipped it sideways.
Sideways. It flipped both ways. It went upside down and it flipped sideways. How do I, in an equation, what makes something flip upside down? A negative out in front. So whatever my equation is, it has a negative out in front, right? What makes it flip sideways? A negative in the parentheses. So there is your equation. That equation would flip your original picture upside down and sideways. All right, so that's the test. Let's take a look at practice test 2. It starts the same way with a whole bunch of graphs. So once again, your test will have one page that looks just like this. So you're going to have some shape, and you're going to have to do stuff to it. So let's look at the first one. What is that going to do? Well, we just talked about that. That's going to be a sideways flip. And we talked about this yesterday. What does that do? No, look back at yesterday's. What does putting a 2 on the X do? Divide by 2, thank you. Divides the width or the X by 2. So, squishes it. Alright, so let's take a look at the original trapezoid. Well, first of all, that point isn't going to change. The origin isn't going to change. I'm going to flip it sideways. I'm going to do this in 2 steps. I'm going to flip it sideways. So that means I have this. I'm just flipping everything sideways. All right, that takes care of the sideways flip. Now, I have to take all of my x's and divide them by 2. So, what's this x right here? 1. So it's going to become 1/2. I'll use a different color to show you better. What's this x right here? 3, so it's going to become 1 1/2. And that x is 4, so it becomes 2. There is my skinny trapezoid. Took all the x's and divided them by 2. Or another way to think about it is, how wide was the original trapezoid? 4? So I just drew a trapezoid that was now 2. Right? However it makes sense to you, that's how you want to do it. What's this x? 2. So it's going to become 1. What's that x?
4.
So it's going to become 2. And there it is. That purple is the answer. All right, what about this next one? What's happening here? 2 things again. Up 1. No. The big absolute value is bottoms up, right? So top stays up, bottom comes up. So always go back to the original problem. So I'm going to do the bottoms up, take care of that first. So the trapezoid is just going to stay. I'm just replotting it exactly like it is on the original. But the little semicircle is going to come up. So would everybody agree that's bottoms up? Now I'm going to take every point and lift it up 1. So here's my new 4. You don't have to draw that in if you don't want to, but every point has to come up 1. So the purple is the answer. Well, only one thing is happening in this one. What is it? Size is changing. What's happening to the size? It's being divided by a half. So in my original picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, the original point is at -4. What is -4 divided by a half? It's not 2. It's not -2. It's -8. Divided by a half is timesing by 2, right? You have a calculator, so if you can't do it on the calculator. -4 divided by a half. And sure enough, it's -8. So, oh my gosh, that first point is clear out here at -8. The next point that I see plotted on my original picture is at -3, 2. Well, I have to divide that by a half. What's -3 divided by a half? -6. So now I'm going to be at -6, 2. The next point on my paper is -1, 2. I'm just looking at the points, the dots on my original picture. Dividing this by a half will be -2, 2. So there is my trapezoid. Notice it used to be 4 wide, but now it's 8 wide, because I divided by a half. Now, would you agree that the same thing is going to happen to your circle? The point at the bottom of the circle is at 2, -1. Divide this by a half, that's going to be at 4, -1. And there we go. That's the only thing that happened. Everything got divided. Every x got divided by a half. Uh-oh, a lot's happening here. What's happening in this one?
The right thing.
The right 3
Multiply.
and the what's getting multiplied? The height or the y's?
The height.
Right? The height or the y's? I want to think about it. So we're multiplying height or y by 2, and we're going right 3. Now you can do this all at once if you want. I'm going to do it in 2 steps. I'm going to go right 3 first. So every point on my original picture, I'm going to move it right 3. So the original point's at -4. It's coming over here to -1. Everything's getting shifted. Every point, all the points I have plotted on the original paper, I moved 3 that way. Now I gotta multiply the y's by 2. Now, would you agree that these y's are changing? Because those y's are 0, and 0 times 2 is still 0. But these guys, which are now at 2, are going to be at 4. And this guy, which is at -1, will be down at -2. So the purple is my final answer. How do you feel about that? Okay? Adam? You okay?
Yes.
All right, and then the last one. There's a lot going on here. 3 things to be exact. Yes, 3 things. What are the 3 things that are happening in this problem?
Flip upside down.
It's gonna go upside down. Upside down, okay. We just did that. What is that?
Finalize.
That's gonna double the y's.
Just bottoms up.
This is not bottoms up. That's the little absolute value, and the little absolute value is the draw right, mirror left. All right, there's a lot happening. So I'm gonna start with that draw right, mirror left. Okay, so I simply draw the exact right side that I see on my paper. Don't change a thing. There it is. That is the right side of my picture. Then I draw the exact same thing on the other side. So that takes care of this. That's done. Now, you said we had to flip it upside down and make it twice as tall. So if it flips upside down, looks like that. But now it's got to be twice as tall. So instead of going up 1, it's going to go up 2. And there is your answer. Okay? All right. Next page. So we have a page of graphs and we have a page of word problems. Some of which you just took on your quiz. Not the first one. The first one was not on your quiz. This is our box problem. So this time, how big is the paper? 10 by 16. That is the only thing that changes. The problem is how big the paper is. So who can write the equation for me? Write the equation for the volume of the box. Who can do that? Okay, so Maya can't remember, so she's flipping back, which is exactly what y'all should be doing if you can't remember. 16 minus 2x
Times
10 minus 2x times x. Are you the one that told us that yesterday? That's what I thought. I wish That was obvious to you. But if it's not, it doesn't matter. You just memorize it. Because every single problem is exactly the same. Except this time it's 10 and 16. So nobody walks in here and says, I don't understand. Too bad, so sad. Memorize it. What's the domain?
0 and 5.
Again, never changes.
0 and 5.
0 to 5. This is X min. This is X max. It's always 0 because X is the corners you're ripping out. And it can't be negative. And then where did the 5 come from? Where does it always come from?
The smallest.
Half the smallest dimension. Your dimensions are 10 by 16. 10 is the smallest. Half of that is 5. And again, my fervent hope is that would make sense to you because it's pretty practical and it makes sense. But if you don't get it, okay, fine. It's always half the smallest dimension. That's what it is, always.
Do you want us to write it like that, or like that X is less than, or like 0 and then less than?
That's an interval, so we use interval notation. Okay, so let's try to do that. It means the same thing. It means X is between 0 and 5. Now, I want the maximum volume. So now I have to go to my calculator. Anna, you got a calculator? Let's get it out. Does it work?
Where's your calculator?
Oh, do we all have one today? That would be like heavenly. Alright, Chloe. Come on, gotta open it up. Doesn't work very well with cover on. Alright, so you can do it in whatever order you want. I'm gonna start by going to my window. X min, X max. My Y max from yesterday's problem or something is set at 200. I'm just gonna leave it that way. If yours is set somewhere else, that's okay. Remember, Y max is just a guess to get us started. We just need to make sure we can see the hill when we graph it. All right, so we're gonna do Y equals. I'm gonna clear out yesterday's equation and put in today's. Make sure you remember to do that, guys. Make sure you remember to clear out yesterday's, put in today's, and hit graph. Oh yeah, mine looks good. You just need to see something that looks like this, right? Something like that. This is the point we're looking for. So I second calculate maximum, and as soon as I press enter, my cursor's back on. So I need to move it over here. I always have to do left first. So I'll move it over to the left. Press enter. Move it over to the right. Press enter. And then move it in the middle. And, oh my. I got 2,144. Now, I didn't actually get 2, I got 1.999999. I'm rounding that off to 2 because it's too many 9s. Now, what does that 2 represent? Remember, you're always going to get an X and a Y, right? Always. Every time you use second calculate max, you're going to get an X and a Y. What does that represent? What is the 2?
Yes.
2 is the size of the corners that you cut out. What does the 144 represent?
Max.
The maximum volume, so it's 144 cubic inches would be the maximum volume of the box. All right, now we got a problem like you had on your quiz. Food costs $16.55, but I'm gonna make a couple of adjustments. There's a 7% tax, and there's a 20% tip. Is anything coming off this bill? No, these are both add-ons. So what am I gonna multiply by? 7% tax will be
1.07.
1.07. 20% tip will be
1.2.
1.20 or 1.2. We'll multiply it all together. I got 21.25 as the amount of my bill. Okay? How much? Set up my little formula here. And I know I've got 6 things to put in. Each pair is multiplied. These 2 are added to equal that one. Alright, so what do we got? 28% Kool-Aid, 10% Kool-Aid, and 22% Kool-Aid. How much should be mixed with 20 cups of 10%? And that leaves me with 1 parenthesis empty. See where it is? So what goes out there? 20 plus X, yep, 20 plus X. All right. All right, I need to check my things here. Not feeling real confident. Now what? I just solve it. What do I do, Armani?
Minus 2042, right?
Yep, move this guy over to the other side. And use my calculator if necessary, because I wanna make sure that I get the right number, 0.06. Right? And then what?
Minus 2.
Minus 2. Again, use my calculator if I need to. And then divide. Is that 40? I need to double check that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that would be, what's my unit here, cups? 40 cups. All right. Last year, tuition was 11.8. Now it's 12.2. Find the percent of increase. what do we do?
Subtract.
Find the difference. So the difference would be 400. And then divide it by
The bigger.
11.8. And that'll be a decimal. I'm gonna make it a percent. So it would be 3.39%. The decimal was 0.03389. So moving it 2 places. 3.39%. Increase. All right, here we go. Consider this guy. Is he a function? I heard a yeah. Why? You have to explain your answer. Why do you think it's a function? Passes the vertical line test. So there's my original picture. I went ahead and labeled all my points, because I know what's coming. I'm gonna have to sketch the inverse eventually. Is this a function? Yes. It passes the vertical line test. Is the inverse a function? No, because it does not pass the horizontal line test. The vertical line test is for the original. The horizontal line test is for the inverse. So, is it 1-to-1? No, because if you're gonna be 1-to-1, you have to pass both. And it doesn't, so it's not. Now, we're gonna sketch the inverse. So I'm simply gonna take each ordered pair. I'm not gonna do anything tricky. I'm gonna take each ordered pair and put it. So this is gonna be 0, -2. This is gonna be 2, -1. 0, 0. 1, 1. 0, 2. -1, 3. -1, 4. 0, 5. You all know how to plot points. Everybody can do that. Just turn the ordered pairs around. All right. Number 7. Now we're gonna find the inverse. Well, you had a quiz over this kind of problem right here, 7A. So what do we do? What are our steps?
So the two what?
Switch the variables.
Multiply? No.
Multiply this over to here, right? This is coming over here. And when it comes over, it will be a distribute. So 2y times x and 1 times x. This comes over here.
Flip the.
Then you gotta take those middle two and switch them, so -3y minus x. Factor out of y. And divide. And this is what I'm dividing by, right? So my inverse is negative x minus 8 over 2x minus 3. Your test will have 2 inverse questions, one like that, and an easier one like this. This one's actually easier. We do the same steps. We switch our variables. And then what do we need to do? Multiply by 4. We're trying to get y by itself. Add 3. Divide by 8. So your inverse is 4x plus 3 over 8. That's exactly right. All right, now there's a question that says, we have these 2 random functions, and we need to decide if they are inverses or not. So how did we do this yesterday? Do you remember? How did we decide if these were inverses yesterday? Pick the random number. I love it when people pay attention, thank you. We pick a random number, like, I don't know, 7. And we put it into the first function. So if I put 7 into the first function, what do I get as my answer? 17. Then I take the 17 and put it into the other function. And what happens when I put 17 into the other function? Yeah, what's 17 minus 3? 14 divided by 2 is 7. I get the same number back again. So what does that mean? They are inverses. Why are they inverses? Because when I put 7 into F, I got 17. And when I put that 17 into G, I got my 7 back again.
How did we get the numbers?
I just picked 7. All right. Number 9. Oh, this is the easiest one. Your job is to find the ordered pair. Find an x and a y. We know x is 2t plus 1 and y is t squared. So what do we do in problem number 9? Plug in what? Negative 2. It says t is negative 2. So negative 2 plugged in for x, or plugged in here, would give me negative 3. And then negative 2 plugged in here would give me 4. And that's it. That's the answer. And my job was to find the x and y. Find the ordered pair. Did it. Who remembers from yesterday, I had you add it in, I had you add it in your notes too. What do these directions in number 10 mean? What am I supposed to do in problem number 10? Eliminate T. I need to eliminate T. Now, I don't know about you, I don't like this fraction here. So I'm gonna write my first equation like it is. This one, I'm going to multiply by 2. So that I don't have to try to eliminate with a fraction. You can if you want, but I just don't wanna mess with it. Now, if I'm eliminating t, let's look at it right now. If I add these together, will those t's cancel out?
No.
No. So I need to do something to make it happen. So what would be a good idea to multiply this equation by so the t's would cancel?
2.
2? So if I multiply this by 2, my top equation is staying the same. And my bottom equation will be 4y equals 2t. Now, when I add, will these go away? What's my goal? So x plus 4y. Remember, these don't combine. X plus 4y equals 4. And that's it. Okay, last one. What in the heck happened? Let's make a list. What are the changes that you can see in getting from picture 1 to picture 2? What happened?
It flipped.
It went upside down. What else?
Down 2.
Down 2. And the height
Multiplied by 2.
got multiplied by 2. All right, so now we have our function. How do we make it go upside down?
The negative of
For the negative out here in front, right? How do we make it go down 2?
In front of it.
Minus 2 on the end?
Oh, down.
Isn't that what makes it go down 2?
Mm-hmm.
And then what multiplies the height by 2? Where does that number go?
Front of X.
Out here? So wouldn't that flip you upside down, make your height times 2 and move you down 2? And that's what you said you needed to have happen. All right, practice test 2. Down the tubes. If you still have